Welcome to WellKit, the podcast where we discuss workplace well-being in all its forms and what it really takes to have healthier workplaces. In each episode, we talk with experts from organizational development, education, positive psychology, and business. And we combine science with practice, and everything we do is to enable organizations and people grow and be well. WellKit is enabled by FitKit, the application that is providing well-being in the corporate world with solutions for exercise, relaxation, and mental health. I'm your host. My name is Ivana Kostovska. I'm a licensed psychologist with background in people and organizational development, and my line of work is related to enabling environments where people feel supported and able to reach their potential and organizations to continuously grow. Today, we are talking about something that shapes our lives even maybe more than we realize, our career choices. And my guest is Ivana Dojchinovska Stojanovikj. She is an experienced HR director, consultant, founder at Prudens Consulting. She's also one of the founders and board members of the Career Counseling Association in Macedonia. And she's a career guidance pioneer, certified trainer for career counseling training on GCDF methodology for 30 years. Welcome, Ivana. Thank you for being here. And I would like to start with a question that many people struggle with. And why are there so many people that end up in careers that don't fit them?
Firstly, thank you, Anna, for the invitation. I'm very glad to be here. Thanks for having me. You and I, we share so many interests, but this is one of the topics that we discuss a lot. So today, thank you for the opportunity that we'll have a chance to discuss it in depth today. So let's do it. Well, why so many people end up in careers that don't fit them? Maybe and mostly because of the way how they make career decisions.
And how is that?
Mostly under the influence of the surrounding, the family, the society, the objective clusters and categories that are visible for people, which is only the tip of the iceberg. But truly, the real reasons how and why we make some career choices are much deeper, and they lie deeply inside of us, in our motivations, values, interests, aspirations, really deeply settled drivers. So we often underestimate the importance of the process of making career decisions, which is where the career counseling steps in and can help a lot. But however, career decisions have a great impact of the general well-being, not only of the workplace well-being, but because they're interconnected, intertwined. What we do is, to a great extent, defines who we are. So a career affects our identity as professionals and as individuals as well. So being in the right place, doing something that fulfills us, has a great impact on our well-being. When there is a fit between the workplace features and our motivators, then the work can energize us, give us motivation and purpose. But when there is a mismatch, then it drains us on a daily basis. It affects our mental health, our energy, our motivation, and everything else that is connected in life with the well-being state.
So extremely important, and not enough awareness around it. And as it happens quite often, people are stuck in a career they don't want, and often people say it's too late for me to change careers. Is it too late? Is it ever too late to change a career?
In order to understand this concept and answer this question, we shall first and foremost understand the concept of career. Career is not something that starts with when you finish education and when you step into your first paid job. The career starts at a very young age, and it doesn't end until the end of life. The point of our career is to find places and roles where we can make ourselves good and useful for the surrounding, for the community, for the world. So this is the main motivator of every single person. And the career doesn't end with pension. It ends with the end of the life. Until our very last day, we are striving to find a place where we will be useful for the community. So knowing this brings us to the concept of let's say advanced career, when we have adults who already have some experience and education behind them, and they are in many cases stuck in some linear career path. Linear career path means starting in one profession and then advancing through the corporate ladder. For example, this is the standard case, a typical career path for the 20th century. But today, both the environment and the people have changed, and people made evolutionary a different perspective. They are developing a different mindset slowly towards career choices. They feel more motivated, more free to make career choices and to jump from one to another role or environment. When we make career choices, we decide mainly two things. What am I going to do? So which is my profession, my calling, my mastery, and in which environment. So in an interconnection of these two features of the workplace, we make our career choices. However, over the course of time and over the course of the life of a person, of the individual, we are changing every day. So our priorities, our interests, our ambitions are changing, are being influenced by our experiences. So we are not the same person as we were 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Knowing this, it becomes logical and natural for the people to need a change in their profession, in their career state, whatever this is. So it's completely fine to look for a change when you're an adult, when you're an experienced professional. And there are several paths you can choose in order to fulfill these changed values and needs you have. You can either completely change profession, which is also fine. There are certain conditions under which you can do that freely and successfully. Or in most of the cases, you can change the environment. You stay in the same profession, but you change the company. Then the third option is you stay within the environment, but slightly maybe change the team or the department, or maybe you advance to the ladder and you go to some different job position within the same environment. But the most important option, and the one that is mostly useful for every individual, is the fourth option, which is putting energy and focus in redesigning and realigning the very same job that we have at the moment.
That sounds very impossible sometimes for many people.
It sounds impossible, but it's not. In most of the cases, it's not. We need to understand that success in one work role, in one job position, let's say, is a project of co-creation between the individual and the organization. Many people don't realize that they share the responsibility with the environment about the success of their job position. Whether I feel happy at work today is partly influenced by the environment, by the organization, the HR, the manager, the colleagues, the clients, whoever is guilty about my bad well-being today. But on the other side, it's 50% dependent on my personal energy, mindset, and attitude towards my work. So we co-create, I and my organization, we co-create my job position, the success of my job position, the goals of my work role, and we share responsibility for the matching.
This is a new concept for many people, that they are equally important for their career as the organization is important, and we will be giving it more time in this podcast. But before we dive into the personal responsibility, what inspired you to get involved into the Career Counselors Association? You're one of the founders, you're one of the board members. So how did it start, and what is happening now? Where is its place in the ecosystem?
Well, Ask, the Association of Career Counselors in Macedonia, is one very interesting story, one of the most dearest career roles I have throughout my career. In order to understand the association, we need to understand first the ecosystem in Macedonia. It's sadly, I have to state that career counseling in our country is still not exists only in fragmented projects and is being supported by I don't know, NGOs like ours or isolated donor projects, and very few institutions in this country who have really a good understanding on the importance of structured and systemic career guidance for everyone, and especially for young people. Unfortunately, in Macedonia, until today, career counseling is not systemically included into the educational system. There are some steps now, lately in 2025, in the secondary education, but this is still far behind developed countries. So we need a lot more effort, financing, and putting energy into incorporating career guidance into the educational system, which will be a good platform for solving many of our issues as a society, like, for example, the brain drain or mismatch of competencies at the labor market, and so on and so on.
And in the educational system, what would the students learn related to career counseling? What should they know at that age?
Starting from primary education, very early in their career development, since education is part of the career development. Students should be supported, young people should be supported to learn how to make career decisions, how to take responsibility for their career. They have to gain so-called career competencies. It's a set of competencies, including career management. How do I manage my career so I can have a fulfilling career and well-being in my life? This is the point that they learn. It can be incorporated in the educational programs, and preferably it should be offered as an extracurricular additional service in the educational system. So there are some small, we make a lot of efforts. We do a lot of advocacy and a lot of pressure to institutions and systems to incorporate career guidance. And this is where we are aiming. So recently we contributed to developing national standards for career counseling in secondary schools. We developed...
That's wonderful.
I worked last year on developing a strategy for the career center of the biggest universities and Cyril and Methodius. So We are very much active in that.
Very important steps into what it sounds like is providing power to the young people to build the careers they want.
Exactly.
Rather than saying there are no opportunities for me here, I need to go abroad, and I can't really do much in this country.
This is the main goal.
And that's wonderful.
Empowering people to make the best out of their lives through their career choices.
So when it comes to young people, generation that is now coming into the workplace, what is happening there? They haven't had the education and support for career, and they are enrolling in the workplaces. What is happening in that area?
Well, I mean, young people in Macedonia have same interests and needs out of the world of work as their generation elsewhere in the world. So they have the same needs. We are experiencing a shift in how we perceive and what motivates us at work. From the 20th century, now in the past decades, now this motivation is more related to alignment, to adjustment of to this match of well-being match. Let's name it well-being match between an organization, the environment, and the needs of the individual. So previously, career success was mostly defined as going up in the corporate ladder.
Yes.
Title, money, influence, power, status, all related to power and influence. Yeah. So some objective, visible, tangible clustering, something that is visible for the world.
That was the expectation.
That was
in
the
order
expectation.
To be successful, you need to climb the career ladder. And
if you're not a manager, you're not successful in your career. So this was the pre-assumption that everybody had. But today, and this is valid also now for the young generation, their mindset, their attitude towards work is more related to personal alignment with the purpose and with the environment. So we have to, at this point, I would like to explain the concept of high-quality workplace. It's a term that I'm using for myself. It helps me define this point. It occupies me in the last 2 years. I'm very much dedicated in exploring in detail this connection between the workplace and the individual, which is getting more and more complicated for me since I've been on both sides. I'm working with individuals as a career counselor and with organizations as corporate HR leader. Yeah. So this intersection is still very fascinating for me. I'm still exploring. We have so many things to explore in this intersection. And people are predominantly going towards searching for alignment in several areas that were not mentioned before, like, for example, autonomy. Mm-hmm. Deeply rooted motivator, driver at work, which is a balance between the freedom that the young generation always needs and accountability. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then the second one is looking for meaning and purpose, the meaningfulness. Every single individual in the world is driven by the fact that we need to be good at something and useful for the surrounding. So knowing that you can contribute in a meaningful way for the microenvironment, but most importantly for the world around the organization, is something that is really needed at work. And younger generations nowadays, they understand this. They know this much better than we did previously.
It's amazing that the younger generation seems wiser than the other generations that came before them in terms of what is really important at work.
Of course, and it should be like that. Every next generation should be wiser than the previous one. So now we have to realize that they are, and they're much deeply looking into the connection between them and the work naturally. And the third component of the quality of work they are looking for, and maybe the most important one, is connection. The human-centric approach. What does it mean? It's not just a phrase that we use in modern HR. People always needed to be valued and seen at work. So we are just now emphasizing this a little bit more. We maybe neglected this personal need previously, and now it's really a central piece of our work and focus in HR, and should be.
And that's good. Things like this weren't a topic in the corporate world, but there are evidence from long time ago. What you said, this connection. I just remember there is this study that started in 1939 about what actually makes life good, and the number one thing is social connection. It's the Harvard Adult Development Study. That's the name of it. That is what keeps us happy. That is what keeps us healthy, and that is what keeps us alive for a longer time. So, thank you for bringing this up.
So you see, it took us 90 years maybe to remind ourselves how important this is. And if it is important in life, why wouldn't it be important at work? I mean, it's not that this is a new concept. HR is built up on this concept. However, the influence of HR in organizations to the other managers was weaker. But nowadays, I think more and more people understand. And the new generation, thanks to new generations, to the Z generation and millennials before that, who are repeatedly reminding us how important these topics are. So now the main topic in HR and business is personalization of the features of jobs. So we can make flexible arrangements and job positions that are fit for any individual. Because every individual, when they enter in a very specific and unique interaction and social contract with the organization, you cannot copy. There are 8 billion ideal workplaces in the world. There is no organization in the world that offers an ideal or high-quality workplace for everyone or for many people.
One size fits all. It's
Exactly.
not a good. So how are companies doing in that area? What's the extent? How much are they succeeding in enabling people a career that matches and supports their well-being?
Yeah, the eternal question. We will always say, so this is a chronic issue. Yeah, whatever occurs as a need, companies, management, HR should get along, should catch up.
That's how it should be.
Yeah. So we are hurrying up to catch up with these needs. Yeah, it's reactive a little bit. But it depends on different environments. I think there is a huge clarity on this personalized approach, at least in the theory and in strategic HR. We all know that this is important. However, so every HR will state this, will support this statement.
Declarative.
We need make flexible and high quality workplace for every individual. However, practices and procedures and techniques how we do that are still a little bit challenging. And one of the top competences and processes that can solve many issues in organizations in this manner is career counseling, introducing a systemic and structured platform for career development. Not only having trainings, I'm talking about something much deeper.
So trainings after
Training
what
is
is
one of the
discovered throughout the process.
one of the 100 possible options for personnel development.
Okay, so I think we need to repeat that for everybody to be clear. Training is not career development. Training is one piece of the whole process.
Exactly.
Okay, and so this is something everybody should know that is working in this area. Okay, so that's about the companies. Let's go back to the individual responsibility when it comes to career. So what can people do? Because people go to work and it is expected that the employer provides or sees the potential and builds upon that potential, and the worker needs to just do their job. But it is not like that, obviously. What should any of us at work do?
Well, it is definitely not like that. This connection starts in a very dynamic environment first. The labor market is very dynamic environment, and it's not only one dimension that the company offers a workplace, and individual offers their time to spend at work with some competencies sometimes, yeah, and then they match. It's not that simple. It's very dynamic environment. So how we, from both sides, the more the recruiters, the HR department should really know what type of people and what type of energy they need to include in the organization, how to connect this very complicated bundle of people who are working together. The same equally important is the energy and the competence of the individual to choose and to know what type of environment, what type of bundle they need in order to perform well and to feel well. So what should we do? What should the individual do? The first thing they need to do in any type of situation related to career or career choices or career well-being, if we want to name it so, is taking time to stop and to go inwards, to introspect, to explore first the own values, interests, and many other aspects of their personality, their needs for a work environment, which is, and many people would say, well, why would we do that? I know who I am. I've made so many experiences. I'm an accomplished professional and so on. No, it's not like that. We are changing every day, so we are a different person. So we really need from time to time to stop, to inhale, to see who we really are, what we really need. This is the first step of a structured career development, which is self-assessment.
And it's something that we very rarely do.
Yeah.
And organizations don't really provide that space for that introspection.
If they would have a structured and standardized career development process, this is exactly what they would provide from time to time for the employees. And then, after knowing who I am, then we shall redefine from time to time our vision for ourselves in the future. The whole philosophy of career development is knowing who am I going to be 10 years from now, 15 years from now, maybe 30 years from now. Because when we make career choices, we are not deciding on what we are going to do and for what salary. This is just a consequence of a career choice. When we make career choices, we decide who we are going to be, which affects our identity, and this is the goal. Education, workplace, are temporary means to become who we want to become.
So what you're saying is that we need to think about our careers in a much more strategic way.
Yes.
So not only if I like the company and salary, but what is it going to get me?
How is it going to help me become who I want to be? This is the question that is in everybody's mind. We're just maybe not aware how to. We don't verbalize it mostly. So career counselors help people verbalize these things to get aware what they truly look for.
So what we need is more career counselors, obviously.
Or integrated competencies for career counseling in companies. Both.
That would be wonderful. And in terms of the newer generation, Gen Z, we've seen. We are saying that they are more aware of their needs and they are wiser. But what is happening is people come at workplace and the first roadblock, they leave. So why is that happening? So they know what do they want, who are they, and even sometimes the job is fine. They like the job, they like the people. First problem comes along and they say, I'm out.
Well, you see, I can hardly imagine that if a person who really knew who they are and who did a proper exploration of the work environment before applying, before entering the company, that they will give up at the first roadblock. As a career counselor, if I need to diagnose a situation like this, I would look for the roots much in the previous stages. Someone did not do the job properly, either the recruiter or the individual. And they share responsibility for this mismatch. They always share responsibility. There are rare cases where really one side will be just not fulfilling their obligations. But there must have been a mismatch somewhere in the process before. When making career decision, the individual should go through. We are going sometimes naturally, sometimes supported by a career counselor in a structured manner through 4 phases. First, knowing yourself, self-assessment, proper, all features, values, interests, personality traits, and skills. Who am I today? Then it requires a proper exploration of options, educational and career choices. Then it takes competencies to make decisions. Problem solving and decision making are one of the core competencies in the career.
That we don't teach young people. We teach managers to do that.
Yes, but now the modern concepts of education are going towards this, Then it requires a very high level of planning competencies. It's something that is really underestimated in the world of work, even for managers. Planning is a competence. It has some rules, So in order to make individual development plan for the individual, no? And then the fourth step in the cycle is we call it placement or taking action. So the career planning cycle that we activate every time we need to make a career decision, whatever the career decision is, doesn't stop. It's a circle that turns around all the time in our heads. We reinvent and rethink who we are and what we need all the time. So it is an obligation of the career counselor when a person gets structured support, not only to help the individual to make the informed decision now, but to equip people with competencies that they can apply in life, in every possible next career transition or decision they are going to make. So this is on the side of the individual. Same on the side of the organization. HR teams need to develop very profound skills in career counseling. Not career guidance, let's say. Career guidance is a broader term. It has several components. Career counseling is one of them. So career HR teams really, it's very helpful. I think career counseling helped me. In my career, it was maybe, I don't know, a breakthrough point. It helped me understand the individual component of our work, because HR, as an HR, you mostly work with groups, with group dynamics. You cluster people,
departments, teams. Yes,
yeah, it's all about clustering people according to some superficial criteria. But in order to really develop systems that are flexible enough to organize the organism of the organization, you need to understand the differences and uniqueness of every individual. And career guidance gives you a very good platform for that.
So it's extremely important, and yet there are organization managers who say that if we give employees opportunities to grow and become who they can become, their true selves, they will leave the company. So that's a very serious fear they have. And often, sadly, they don't want to go in that depth. What can we tell them? What can we say to the CEOs and the department managers?
Well, very interesting. You're straight to the point. Recently I read some article on managing paradoxes in business.
Huh.
Well, business is all about managing paradoxes. Everything we manage or organize at work has two forces that are not always going in the same direction. So the topic of the individual career development of our employees is, of course, one of the paradoxes we need to manage. So we know this. There was a joke or a statement previously. You remember that, it's a very old one. What if we train the people and they will leave? But what if we don't train them and they stay? So it's the same, and the same answer, the same logic applies here. What's the benefit for the company having someone who is not right fit and who doesn't feel well at a workplace? Because now we know, and we have so many proofs, that if people are not in the right place and with the right support from the environment, they don't perform well. So that
translates into money.
So it affects profit directly, the EBIT directly. So knowing this, why should we be afraid to give people the freedom to really explore all the options for them in our organization? Remember, I said previously, the most useful method to do something about your career is not changing your career, is putting more energy and modify the workplace that you have currently, because there is always something you can do as an individual. You can ask. Many people need changes in their work environment, but they don't ask. They don't even communicate this with their managers, with their team, and so on. So there is always something you can do more. If it doesn't fit, if your HR, the career counselor, helps you to define that, to know, to the knowledge that you're really not good, you're really not happy, you're in a wrong profession, then we can look for another option. We can modify your workplace. We can change your role. We can bring you to another department. We can give you more responsibilities. Even if we are not able to do so, we can give you a chance to work on a project, side task assignments, task forces, something that is giving you more opportunity. Or we can change your work arrangements. We can shorten your work time so you can do something else that completes your career. There are so many opportunities to correct. It's not leaving the job. This is the last possible option. And with a proper career support at work, leaving the job is the last, happens very rarely, believe me.
So, this sounds like a wonderful partnership.
Exactly.
As is the last, the ultimate goal. If we could summarize this very deep and broad topic into few advices, I guess one of the most important would be don't resign, redesign.
Exactly.
And the companies and the employees have equal responsibility in building people's careers.
Exactly. Those are the main messages. Don't resign. Even when you feel stuck or very unhappy at work, resigning is not the first step. The first step is going into yourself, defining first who you are, what you need, what is your vision, and then looking for means to or changes that you need. And very often, if we do so, changing the job is not the right answer. We will realize that changing the job, it's not the workplace. It's the mental state, the mindset, the energy, the focus, the approach that I'm giving to this work. And maybe the lower level of energy that can be out of some reasons, I don't know, I'm a life stage that I'm not really interested or so whatsoever. But there are many things you can do at work and with your employer before leaving the workplace.
And this is so powerful and so optimistic for people to know that they're not stuck for years. There's always something that can be done. Obviously it's an extremely important topic. We know it, and let's hope that now more people know it and actually do more related to this extremely important area in their lives, such as the career. Thank you for this important topic. I would like to ask you for the end, because you've been doing this for 30 years, more or less, the career counseling. What keeps you inspired to continue doing this?
Well, these small transformation moments I see around myself. I'm also a certified trainer for career counselors. I work with many people. I work with many young people. Besides the employees in the corporate settings where I've been as an HR, where career counseling is not really the main topic for HR, but however, I incorporated many elements in the HR processes. But however, when working with clients, we call them clients, yeah, just like in say, psychotherapy. So when working with clients, whether groups or individuals, seeing these small transformational moments, these aha moments, I never thought about myself like that, when they see test results. Or when young people define their vision, reading these texts or listening to these statements, there is nothing that can be more energizing in the world. You see the whole potential, the whole energy, when you know that you helped someone to envision themselves in an ideal future for themselves. It's so energizing. However, now thinking as an HR, when in organizations, having seen a small transformational moment in one employee, in one individual, what motivates a lot in HR setting, in corporate setting, is the ripple effect that a small transformation in one member of the team has on the whole team. Because the organizational culture and climate, this bond between people is very, very delicate. And these small changes, when one person feels more energized or has more clarity and feels adjusted, aligned with the environment, it affects all the other employees in the surrounding area. It's contagious.
If only we can imagine how would it look like when people would realize their potential. And what you're saying, it sounds like steps into their direction.
Exactly. But many people have realized their potential. But the point is that every single individual needs to realign themselves from time to time. What motivated me 10 years ago is by far not the same today. So I need to reinvent myself, realign myself with what I do. And this is where in organizations, HR and career counseling competencies can help to nudge people to do that without a fear that they will leave the organization. Just we need to adjust this and make this very delicate tissue a little bit more connected each time, and with every individual separately. And this flexibility of systems is one of the biggest goals, highly aggregated goals for HR teams.
Oh, it's good that we have people that are working on that, such as you. And it's a wonderful future to imagine.
Yeah.
And that shared responsibility and that potential. If we could end this wonderful talk, it would be with a very serious nudge for people and organizations to take careers very seriously.
Exactly.
It was a joy to have you here. Thank you for speaking about this topic, and let's hope and continue working on seeing this conversation more often in the society.
Well, me and my colleagues, my teammates from ASK, the Association of Career Counselors, won't stop doing that, reminding the whole society, all systems that career guidance can really make a difference and help many people.
And we are very happy for that. Thank you again.
Thank you very much for having me.